On March 23, 2021, the container ship Ever Given was traveling between the Malaysian port of Tinjuan Pelapas and the Dutch port of Rotterdam when it passed through Egypt's Suez Canal. According to the shipping company, the vessel was hit by a strong sandstorm, with wind speeds reaching 74 km per hour, rendering it unsteerable. The ship collided with the canal sidewall at 7:40 am local time. The first Egyptian tugboats and firefighting ships arrived about a half hour later, but freeing the ship will be a difficult task. The first images, which show the ship digging itself into the sidewall, began to circulate on the internet. Satellite images show the ship completely blocks passage through the canal. The Ever Given is a type of a ship that can carry a maximum of 20,124 containers, making it one of the world's largest container ships. One of the biggest ships of the shipping company Evergreen, about 400 meters long, Here is a comparison of a person to help you understand the scale. We may compare the size of Ever Given to that of a Titanic to get a sense of a scale. On the side, we can see the Eiffel Tower. Following the failure of early efforts to free the ship using only tugboats, excavators were used to free the ship. The Suez Canal's profile is angled on the sides, so it only has its full depth in the middle. The canal has a width of just 280 meters. In 1 year, 19,000 boats enter the Suez Canal of Egypt and about 50 a day, representing 12% of world trade. The Suez Canal connects the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. The canal shortens the container ship travel times between the Indian Ocean and the North Atlantic by about 8 to 10 days, because the only other option is to circumnavigate the entire African continent. Egypt relies heavily on the canal for revenue. The country receives more than $5 billion per year in transit fees, implying that the average price per transit is more than $300,000. However, a significant portion of the route can only be shipped in a single lane. As a result, traffic must alternate between ships traveling north and ships traveling south. There are waiting areas such as those in the Great Bitter Lake, where ships can wait for traffic and turn around if necessary. Due to the construction of the new Suez Canal in 2015, a large portion of the canal now has 2 lanes, which is thus navigable in both directions at the same time. However, because the Ever Given is stuck in the only one lane, all traffic on the canal has come to a halt. During the blockage, approximately 370 ships waited for passage on both sides of the canal. It is estimated that this incident held up goods worth $9.6 billion every day. The uncertainty about how long the blockade will last makes it difficult for shipping companies to decide whether it is better to wait until the canal is clear or to send the ships to the southern tip of Africa's Cape of Good Hope. Some have made this costly decision, including the Ever Great, the sister ship of Ever Given, which is currently blocking the canal. The shipping company Evergreen operates both ships. Such a condition is particularly important for ships carrying animals, as there is insufficient water and food to sustain exceptionally long delays, and the blockade came at an inopportune time as global supply chains are already stretching thin as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. The import to export ratio in many countries has recently shifted. Lockdowns and reduced economic activity results in lower output and fewer exports in many places, particularly in Europe and North America. Imports from Asia, on the other hand, are still required, particularly from China, where production was able to resume much sooner. As a result, there is an imbalance and a lack of containers when they leave Asia but do not return at the same pace. North America currently has a 40% container surplus, which means that for every 100 containers that come, only 40 are shipped. The Suez Canal delays are straining an increasingly strained logistic infrastructure. Authorities were able to free the Evergreen on March 29 at 3 pm local time, about 150 hours after the ship became stranded. They used 14 tugboats to dislodge the Ever Given during the high spring tides around the full moon. At 7 pm local time, the ship was towed to the Great Bitter Lake for inspection, and traffic along the Suez Canal resumed. Also, after the blockade is cleared, it is anticipated that the vast number of container ships arriving at ports in Europe and Asia in fast succession would exceed even the largest ports' handling capability. As a result, the delay is expected to have knock-on impact on port services and even inland infrastructure. This blockage can seem to have little effect on us because it occurs in an indirect manner. Yet it is, and not only for any of us, but for almost all of us. The Suez Canal transports some 12% of world's trade volume, and a total blockage of it, except for a few days, impacts an incredible number of products and services, causing significant economic consequences due to both direct losses and instability that it generates.